From the skies over Tehran to the shadowed waters of the Gulf and the fraught borders of Mesopotamia. This week, the Middle East pulses with warnings, arrests, and uneasy alliances. Israel sharpens its words. Iran seizes a smuggler's prize, and Baghdad signs on to a new security pact. In a region still haunted by June's war, the next move is never far away. Israeli Defence Minister Israel Katz has escalated his rhetoric against Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, reviving threats first voiced during the 12-day Israel-Iran war in June. In a pointed post on X on August 11th, Katz warned Khamenei to stay alert to the presence of Israeli drones, a clear suggestion they continue to operate in Iranian airspace.
I suggest to Iranian dictator Khamenei that when he leaves his bunker, he occasionally lifts his eyes to the sky and listens carefully to every buzz.
His warning followed the circulation of a Hebrew language graphic, described by Katz as originating in Tehran, that appeared to mark senior Israeli officials for assassination, labeling him Terror Minister Israel Katz. The design closely resembled Israeli graphics used to announce the targeted killing of Iranian commanders during June's conflict, though its provenance remains unverified and distribution was limited until Katz amplified it. Katz coupled his drone warning with another loaded phrase.
Participants of the Red Wedding are waiting for him.
The Red Wedding reference recalls a brutal massacre scene from HBO's Game of Thrones, which Katz has previously used to characterize Israel's opening salvo on the 13th of June. A surprise offensive that killed roughly 30 senior Iranian military commanders, including the country's top 3 generals, in near-simultaneous strikes on Tehran. Israeli assessments suggested the attack crippled Iran's command structure, delaying a coordinated response for almost 24 hours and shaping the war's early dynamics. The latest exchange comes amid a fragile calm since the June confrontation, with both states trading symbolic jabs through social media and state-controlled outlets. Katz's words highlight Israel's determination to keep its opponents guessing while moving quickly and decisively, just as it did in the war's first hours. Iranian authorities say they have seized an oil tanker carrying more than 2 million litres of smuggled diesel within the country's exclusive waters near the port of Jask, a strategic gateway on the Gulf of Oman. The operation, led by border guards in coordination with the Iranian Navy, marks the latest in a string of interdictions targeting maritime smuggling routes in the Strait of Hormuz corridor. Brigadier General Ahmad Ali Gudarzi, commander of Iran's border police, said the seizure followed a surveillance operation combining electronic monitoring and aerial reconnaissance. Intelligence indicated a large-scale smuggling attempt was underway some 23 miles off Kuhi Mobarak, involving the tanker Phoenix, registered under a third country flag.
With intelligence awareness and using electronic equipment and aerial surveillance, our border guards identified a plan by large fuel smuggling networks to steal a significant amount of smuggled fuel 23 miles off Kuhi Mobarak, using an oil tanker named Phoenix flying a third country's flag.
On boarding the vessel, officials reported finding 2,030,755 litres of diesel. 17 foreign crew members were arrested and transferred to judicial authorities in Jask. The fuel's estimated value of 759 billion rials highlights the profitability of the illicit trade for transnational networks.
17 foreign suspects were arrested and transferred to the relevant authorities in Jask, and the value of the seized fuel is estimated at 759 billion rials.
Iran has long framed such operations as a defense of its economic sovereignty, arguing that fuel smuggling undermines state revenues and often intersects with wider organized crime. Gudarzi stressed the synergy between sea and land forces in combating the practice. The seizure comes amid heightened maritime vigilance after June's Israel-Iran conflict, with the Gulf of Oman and Northern Arabian Sea seeing increased interdictions, drone surveillance, and contested vessel detentions. Regional maritime security has become increasingly volatile, with enforcement operations now functioning both as economic measures and as demonstrations of state authority in contested waters. Meanwhile, in Baghdad, Iran and Iraq have signed a fresh security memorandum aimed at tightening border coordination, capping the first major regional tour by Ali Larijani since his appointment as Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. The signing took place in the presence of Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani and National Security Advisor Qasem al-Araji, following talks that reaffirmed commitments to deepen cooperation on security, politics, and trade.
We have drafted a security agreement with Iraq, which is a very important issue. Iran's perspective and approach in relations with its neighbors are based on the fact that the security of Iranians is the focal point, but Iran also pays attention to the security of the neighboring countries.
Larijani's agenda in Baghdad centered on strengthening counter-smuggling and counter-infiltration measures while enhancing overall border security. He framed Iran's security as intertwined with that of its neighbors and pointed to extensive trade with Iraq as a stabilizing factor.
Iran enjoys close trade ties with the friendly country of Iraq, while the two nations also have a very good level of cooperation.
The memorandum builds on a March 2023 agreement aimed at improving coordination along the shared frontier. Larijani's approach mirrors Tehran's wider strategy of pairing security commitments with economic integration. Prime Minister al-Sudani emphasized Iraq's interest in balanced regional relations, portraying the accord as a step towards stability and a guard against escalation.
Iraq is committed to strengthening relations with Iran and advancing joint partnerships in a manner that serves the interests of both the Iraqi and Iranian people.
He reiterated Baghdad's rejection of Israeli military action against Iran and expressed support for dialogue between Washington and Tehran, describing diplomacy as a means to avoid regional spillover.
Iraq rejects any actions that could escalate regional or international conflicts and supports dialogue between Washington and Tehran.
The trip's twin goals, shoring up border security with Iraq and reinforcing strategic alignment with Lebanon, reflect Tehran's bid to stabilize its immediate neighborhood following June's confrontation with Israel, against the backdrop of increased maritime enforcement at home and hard-edged Israeli messaging abroad. The diplomatic push forms part of a delicate balancing act in a region navigating the uneasy aftermath of a short but consequential war.